Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about the structure of this class. I'm going to do this in English because there isn't as much time that we would have like in the classroom to explain this. So I want to do a brief overview to make sure that the structure is understood. So the structure of all of the modules, module A, B, C, D, are going to be the same. They're going to be very similarly structured. And the focus of this class is to help get some practice making comparisons across cultures, between cultures, okay, focusing specifically on like Latin American culture and the culture of Spain, and then also comparing it with your individual culture. So having said that, we'll talk about things that happened in the past, okay, but the focus isn't history and learning dates and learning things that happened in the past, but it's focused on the culture of people in the past. Okay? So even if the module talks about something that happened a long time ago, okay, the focus is on the culture of those things. Okay? For this class, here we have the definition of culture. The biggest thing is the focus on products, practices, and perspectives. Okay? So products are going to be more things, okay? Things you see or observe in a culture. Practices are what are done with those things. And then perspectives are kind of the why, and not necessarily just like we do it because it's convenient or we like it, right? But kind of a value that leads us to the practice and the product. Okay, so a quick example of this, we might think of like piñatas as a product of Mexico, right? Um, and a lot of times products are the things that we notice first, okay? But the practices and the perspectives help us go a little bit deeper. Okay? So maybe a practice that goes with piñata would be having piñatas to celebrate birthday parties. Okay? And then a perspective behind this might be piñatas are a way to bring the community, the family together and celebrate in a way that is fun for adults and children. This whole perspective might be that community is important. Okay? And so it's not just we have piñatas because they're cool, right? But we have piñatas because it brings the community together, and community is important. Okay? So just a quick example of products, practices, perspectives. So we're going to, in this class, focus a lot of what we see in the resources like videos, texts, images, okay? And it's going to be more about what you as a student see. Okay? So there isn't just one answer that I'm looking for, but you do need to follow the instructions of the class to make sure you are answering the right questions and using the right products and resources. Okay? So the way this course is structured, okay, we have a module, and that is basically the course itself, the semester. And within that module, there's a variety of units. So right now, most of them have 2 units, Unit 1, Unit 2, and each of those units have different sections. And each of these sections are going to be structured similarly. So as you go through, a lot of the assignments are going to be similar, but they're going to have different content. I mean, there's going to be different products and practices and perspectives that you're focusing on. So each week, there's going to be something to help you get thinking about the topic for that section. And then from that topic, you'll look at different products for Latin America, and then in part 2. And then in part 3, you'll look at topics for Spain. And so every section, we're going to look at something from Latin America and something from Spain. Okay. And the process that we go through to look at those topics and look at those resources are going to be the same for both of these. And then after we look at those, then we're going to work on comparing and contrasting the products, the practices, and perspectives that we see in these cultures with our own culture. So we're going to use kind of the same ideas, the same information for this whole section. We'll have kind of a question that guides us through all of this. And then Latin America will have products, practices, and perspectives. Spain will have products, practices, perspectives based off of that question. And then we'll bring it all together with the compare and contrast. And that's the process we'll follow for each section. Here it says weeks, semana, but it might be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter than an actual week. So that's why I'm calling them sections here. And then the fourth section of a unit follows a little bit different pattern. It's basically just a bigger activity. Okay? That kind of connects these three sections and helps you reflect on those sections. Okay? But this is going to be the basic structure of the course. Okay? We'll have a module, which is the whole course, separated into units. Each unit will have different sections. Okay? So 4 sections in a unit, and those sections are going to be broken down to look at different aspects of the cultures with one question. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions on that, let me know. And as you go through the class, hopefully it'll start to make a little bit more sense. The other thing is because this is an online class and students are going to be working at their own pace, interaction with other students is going to be limited. You can see responses depending on what the assignment is, responses of other students, okay? But actual interaction is going to be somewhat limited. Okay? There may be parts where, like overviews like this one, that are in English to help you get a succinct idea of what's going to happen, because a lot of the context that would be in the classroom isn't here. And so I want to make sure you understand the things that are important in the overview sense. But the assignments themselves, the instructions themselves within the assignment, those are going to be in Spanish, and you will be expected to answer in Spanish as well, since this is a DLI course. And then again, we use historical context a lot, but this isn't a history class. We're going to be focusing on the cultures. And so here's a quick overview. Okay, there's 4 different semesters of this course, 4 different versions, you might say. So if you're doing Module A, the focus will be on pre-Columbian civilizations. So the dates will be before 1491. So the different products that we look at will all be from cultures before 1491. Okay. And so when you are looking at products and stuff, don't try and pull stuff from today. Okay, like don't look at Latin America today and say like, okay, this is the food that they have today. Look at the products that are there in the resources in the class, okay, to look at these pre-Columbian civilizations and the cultures that they had. Then Module B, okay, the period of time that we are focusing on for that whole class, Spanish discovery and conquest of the Americas. So that will be from 1492 to 1779. And again, you're going to pull products, practices, perspectives from this time period. Module C is the independence movements of the Hispanic world. Okay, that's from 1780 to 1830. Then Module D is the Industrial Revolution and on. Okay, so 1830 to the present. You will only be taking one of these right now. Okay, so don't worry about trying to hit all of these. Okay. You are enrolled either in Module A or Module B or Module C or Module D, just one of these 4. But there are just the 4 versions. Okay? Depending on what version you have, dictates which time period we're going to be looking at. Okay? So this is just kind of an overview of the course, of the structure. Hopefully it's helpful so you know what to expect coming forward.